What reinsurance is it's insurance that insurance companies buy to pay claims if there's a catastrophe. You buy it from companies like Lloyd's of London, AIG. That has just gotten so expensive that the carriers can't afford it, and maybe they're not able to get as much as they want at the terms that they want. So the state has set up basically the state will sell it to them.
And the reason why they're doing that is some reinsurance companies are threatening not to back the insurance companies here in Florida because they feel they're not solvent enough in order to handle their business. And they were worried that their rating system wasn't really accurate to their financial stability. So Florida is stepping in to be like a safety net for the reinsurance industry. So taxpayers are on the hook now for up to $3 billion, right? So there's a big risk there.
Jim, that's an important point right there, because we were saying the state and Florida, it's taxpayer funded $3 billion.
$1 billion that they just made, that you actually have to purchase. They're going to have like some sort of rating system to determine how much that premium is going to be. The taxpayer is now the investor, basically.
Yeah. Get a return on that then.
I mean, it's going to be reasonable rates, what that is.
It probably just funds that program, right? Like they'll probably have to continue it and refund it, and so maybe those returns help keep that as an option for reinsurance.
Let me ask you a quick question, just right in here, because Ross says reasonable rates. Ross, you've been in this game, you're deep in it every day. Like you warned us about how things were evolving, like as it was going. People that listen to the show shouldn't have been shell shocked when they got their increases, because you were kind of warning us all along. So if you just go back like 4 years to where rates were, we ever going to get back to that?
I don't think we'll get back to that low. Just over the last 4 years, everything's gone up. Inflation affects everything. So like that's all based on materials and all that. So I don't think we'll get to that. It just won't be going up as much.
So I think I don't think maybe my numbers are off, but the average homeowners policy like 4 or 5 years ago was around 15 to 1800, I think, in the state, and now it's over $4,000, right?
I think it's 4,200 now. Yeah.
I don't think we're ever going to get close to the 15 or 18 or even 2,000. I think we're in that $4,000 zone forever now, and now it's just a matter of trying to stop the bleeding and see if we can kind of cap it at that. I feel like that's where we're at.
I was going to say, I think that's an interesting prediction, Johnny, but part of this legislation, which we haven't gotten to yet, the experts, and I'm sure there's two sides of this argument, but the experts are the lawsuits are the problem, right? The litigation is the problem. And so if they can stop the big bleeding of lawsuits and litigation and damages and like these numbers just being crazy, crazy high going to the legal process and legal fees, why wouldn't we be able to get back down to reasonable rates that essentially say, hey,
well, just to tie it all in real quick, that's when Ross said, inflation, I was like, well, that's fair. But then I was like, but they blame it all on litigation. So you can't.
I'm just saying, like,
what Johnny's not taking in consideration also is the average value of homes has more than doubled over the last 4 years. If you were insuring a house 4 years ago, the same house, like your house, say it was insured at $200,000 4 years ago. I'm just making up a number. And now it's $400,000. You're going to pay a higher insurance policy because your house is worth more, and you have to replacement value and recoverables and things like that.
Oh, sure.
So I don't think we're ever going to get back to that unless the property value is decreased, to get back to those numbers.
Remember, you're insuring what it costs to rebuild the home, not the value of the home, but simply what it costs to rebuild it. And so
which is way more expensive than 4 years ago.
Construction costs and materials and labor are going to go up. So I think that's Ross's point, right? Like just the cost of doing business
exactly.
goes up.
But let's go over some statistics so that we're talking about that. So the average homeowners policy increase in the nation, according to the articles I read, is 9% a year. Florida is 33% a year. Okay, just to put that in perspective.
By the way, I was seeing 40%. We were seeing 40%. So I was saying
Miami-Dade
2020.
Yep, and Miami-Dade was 44. Miami-Dade's still 40% right now. Dade and Broward, Palm Beach and Broward is 33% on average, right? Dade's still down at 40. The other thing is you're right about the litigation thing. They keep reading the same statistics. We're 7% of the insurance claims, but we're 76% of the, or 76 or 72% of the actual, what is it, the legal fees or the actual cost?
No, it's 7% of claims, and like 80% of lawsuits involving claims involving a lawsuit.
Yes, claims of where like 80%. The reason why we're not going to see the premiums go down, like Johnny was talking about, like to see it scale back in the new bill that they passed, there's nothing in there for that. Nothing. Okay. They're not asking so the insurance companies are getting everything, not everything they're asking for, but a lot of the things that they wanted, and they're giving the consumer nothing. Okay. One of the legislators were so mad after the bill was passed, before it was signed by DeSantis, he said, "My constituents are getting screwed." That was the line he said, because there's nothing in there to make them reduce the premiums to get these benefits they're getting. Now that might happen naturally.
But you can't tell a company to not operate at to earn a profit. You can't say, "Hey, well, you know what? If you want to operate here, you can't increase your rates by more than 10%." So, well, okay, we'll go out of business then.
Yeah, and that's the point I was going to make. Maybe you have to go through this pain that we're going through right now and give the insurance companies what they need so they can get some breathing room, and then maybe we'll start seeing. Then maybe we can go back and then start, because they do go through that process with the insurance regulators where they have to ask to increase their premiums, right, Ross? There's a process. They don't just do it willy-nilly.
Right. The rates have to be approved by the OIR. So, but I mean, here's the thing: we're not going to see any immediate relief right now. So,
right,
with the attorney's fees being wiped out, the assignment of benefits being done, what's going to happen is over the next year and a half to 2 years, the insurance companies can be able to gather all that data, see how much money they're actually saving and how much they're actually sticking into their, into their reserves, and then it's a free market. So, if the company wants to grow and turn up and acquire more customers and become more and make more money, they're going to have to offer competitive rates. So if everybody's, if everybody's just high, people are going to start to, hey, we're going to try and pick up more business here. So we're going to offer a competitive rate on this. And so you'll start to see rates slowly but surely, I would think, assuming everything goes, the way it should be, that, in 2 years, you'll start to see the rates start to come down.
The case that they're making is like, listen, hey, if you want to be a home insurance company in Florida, you're almost guaranteed to lose money right now.